my loves, and welcome back to the Ages of Chaos. A little later than expected, but as promised, we're going to be continuing with our look at Codex World Eaters for 10th edition, and we're going to be having a look at some of the detachments today. We went through the background, the general codex, and the units, the data entries last time, but let's have a look at some of the detachments, because as we all know, in 10th, detachments maketh the codex, right? Again, I want to say I'm really impressed with most of these Chaos Codices, these the cult codices that they've released sort of partway through 10th edition, all in one go, it seems. I love the way they've taken what are ostensibly quite myopic armies in many respects. You know, they are very extreme and they're meant to represent certain extremes of styles of play. And they found minutiae in that. They found like different types of army that you can make from these guys. And I mean, we explored that in quite a lot of depth in The Emperor's Children, of course. And they've done the same with the World Eaters, arguably, an even more myopic force, you know? Classically, World Eaters have always been one type of army. They are, you charge, you get into combat, and that's it, right? That's the way it works. They've done a lot here. I mean, the first detachment we're going to look at is basically that. It's the Codex adaptation of the original Index detachment, the Berserker Warband. This is you're all singing, all dancing. If you want to take a classic World Eaters force, make use of everything in the Codex, this is the way to go. It's changed a little bit. They've adapted it a little bit, as they have for all of the Index detachments. It's not quite the same, but I think it's actually a lot better. This is probably going to be one of the most played attachments in the World Eaters, just because it's got a lot of tricks, it's got a lot of utility. Almost everything in the Codex benefits from it, so it's very good if you're going for a versatile army list. Comprised of insane transhuman fanatics, monstrous possessed, and other horrific killers, World Eaters warbands confront their foes head-on, relying predominantly upon aggression to turn the tide of battle in their favour. This is not to say that they are devoid of tactical and strategic acumen, however. That's a big thing in this codex, which I actually really rather like. They're really trying to emphasise that the World Eaters aren't just frothing maniacs. They are that. They're not just that. They are ultimately still Space Marines and are therefore still tactical geniuses. You know, they still utilize tactics. It's just slanted in a very different way. It's all about getting into combat as quickly as possible and reaping blood and skulls. That's what they do, yeah? Oh. As screaming hordes of Khorne berserkers crash into the enemy, armoured vehicles, demon engines, and mortal cultists follow the assault, moving swiftly to outflank and envelop foes or seizing key battlefield positions to repel desperate counterattacks. Whether breaking a siege, defending the site of a twisted ritual, or simply seeking to annihilate a chosen enemy, World Eaters warbands are more than capable of adapting their battle plans to the task at hand, so long as blood is spilt and skulls claimed in the name of the Blood God. Of course. I mean, what else? How else would you have it, guys, you World Eaters players out there? That's what you like, isn't it? You know, we know what it's about. Bloody hell. The detachment rule has had a little bit of an upgrade. It's relentless rage still. The World Eaters fight in a perpetual fury, driven ever onward to slaughter all who stand in their path. All of their warriors have been subject to horrific surgery, implanted with crude devices that amplify their aggression. Some even submit to possession by the Blood God's demonic servants. These warriors will only stop killing when every foe lies in bloody ruin at their feet. And sometimes not even then. Yeah, there are accounts of World Eaters' armies falling on themselves when there are actually no victims to take, no skulls to reap. So the rule, just like all of these adapted Index detachments, it's short and sweet, very simple, universally applicable, and has a lot of play. Each time a World Eaters unit from your army makes a charge move, until the end of the turn, add 1 to the attacks characteristic and add 2 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit. It's simple to use, simple to understand, you get bonuses on the charge, so you're going to want to be charging a lot. It's very good for, obviously, for Khorne Berserkers, who are going to be the meat and potatoes of this. It is a Berserker warband. But it's also very good for your cultists, for your characters, even for your vehicles, you know? It's a for Angron, Demon Princes, it applies to everything. It's a really, really, really good detachment rule. Very easy to use, no hoop to jump through, no traps or anything like that. It's very easy. I like it a lot. In terms of enhancements, you've got the classic Berserker Glaive. That's been around since 3.5, the Berserker Glaive. It was very different back then. It was a weird, weird thing that turned an independent character into like its own little army. It was so weird. Go back and read the 3.5 Codex and read up on the Berserker Glaive. It's such a weird implement. The bearer of this demon-infested weapon is driven to a state of apoplectic frenzy by the touch of its red-hot grip. World Eater's model only, add 1 to the attacks and damage characteristics of melee weapons, excluding extra attacks weapons equipped by the bearer. Again, it's short and sweet, it's to the point. It's not a tactical or a technical piece. It's about making melee characters into even better melee characters. Great on a Demon Prince or Demon Prince with wings. Great on a Chaos Lord on his Juggernaut. It's really, really nice. Helm of Brazen Ire. Khorne's faithful believe this relic was forged in the depths of the Blood God's own realm. Blades of many champions have broken upon its brass surface. World Eater's model only. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. Very good. It's very good. It just makes your character much more survivable. Again, Demon Prince. Brilliant on a Demon Prince. It's great on any character here, to be honest, but I think a Demon Prince is really where it's at for this one. Favored of Khorne. This warrior has the favor of Khorne. The Blood God's infernal power pulses through their veins. World Eater's model only. Each time you make a Blessings of Khorne roll, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you can re-roll up to 2 of the die 6 rolled. It's really good. It's a much more technical enhancement. It's about getting the rolls that you want from the Blessings of Khorne, and anything that can affect them in your favor is obviously really good. You're definitely going to want to take that. It's going to make all the difference. It really is. Battle Lust. This veteran killer cannot resist the urge to kill. His endless thirst for slaughter drives him forward into the thickest of the fighting. World Eater's model only. You can reroll charge rolls made for the bearer's unit. Really good. In addition, while the Unbridled Bloodlust Blessing of Khorne is active for your army, add 1 to the charge rolls made for the bearer's unit. Yeah, again, it's a technical piece, but it's very, 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 very good. You're going to want to take this not on a Demon Prince, but on a Lord of Khorne, on his Juggernaut, leading a big band of Khorne Berserkers. It just enables you to get those charges off nice and quickly. It's really good. It's very, very good indeed. In terms of the stratagems, we've got Blood Offering, which is 1 command point. Epic Deed stratagem. Khorne cares not from whence the blood flows, only that it does, as we all know. The deaths of his own devoted are fitting offerings. It can be done in any phase. Target is 1 World Eater's unit from your army that was just destroyed while it was within range of 1 or more objective markers you controlled at the end of the previous phase. You can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. That's unusual. You don't get that very often. Effect. Select 1 of these objective markers. That objective marker remains under your control until your opponent's level of control over that objective marker is greater than yours. It's interesting. It's a kind of sticky objectives, but for a destroyed unit. I kind of like that. It's fluffy, and it means that you can pull a nasty trick when the opponent thinks they forced you off an objective or reclaimed an objective. It may not necessarily be so, and it's only 1 command point, so it's pretty good. Skulls for the Skull Throne. That's a nice one. Strategic Ploy Stratagem, 1 command point. The skulls of mighty champions and monstrous foes make a fitting tribute to the Blood God. Don't they just? When, in fight phase, just after a World Eater's unit from your army destroys a character or monster model and the target is that World Eater's unit. Effect. Make a Blessings of Khorne roll and use the results to activate 1 Blessing of Khorne. Until the end of the battle round, that Blessing of Khorne is active in addition to any other Blessings of Khorne that are currently active. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, that's very good. And it's one of those wonderful stratagems that it actually changes the way that you play, which is kind of cool. Because with this, if you know that that's a possibility with this detachment, you're obviously going to be trying your damnedest to kill enemy characters. That's really, really nice, actually. And it can supercharge your army. If you manage to get it off, it can absolutely supercharge your army. Hack and slash, I like that. One command point, battle tactics stratagem. Hack and slash, rend and tear, dismember and eviscerate, kill, 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 with lots of exclamation marks. Yeah, like that. That's in the fight phase. Target one World Eaters unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase and that made a charge move this turn. The effect, until the end of the phase, improve the armor penetration characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit by 1. It's short and sweet, nice and simple, gives you more killing power. It's nice. You're definitely going to be using that one a lot, actually. Apoplectic Frenzy. This is a strategic ploy stratagem for 1 command point, so nice and cheap again. Those who fight for Khorne are driven to even greater depths of rage, surging towards the foe in a barely controlled tide of bloodthirsty savagery. Yes. When, this is your movement phase, just after a Khorne Berserkers unit from your army is selected to advance, the target is that only Khorne Berserkers this is, so it's quite limited, this one. Effect, until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. So, yeah, it's a little bit limited, but it's actually still really bloody good. The advance and charge is really strong. It's particularly strong on a massive unit of Khorne Berserkers, 10 or 20, led by a Juggerlord that can make them move 10 inches. It's very, very, very good indeed, that one, actually. Even if it is just limited to Khorne Berserkers, it doesn't matter. This is the Berserker Warband, yeah? Frenzied Resilience. This is a battle tactics stratagem. Depths of their fury lend the devoted of Khorne resilience. Mere flesh wounds will not stay the wrath of the World Eaters, bit like the Black Knights in the Holy Grail. 2 command points, so this is quite expensive. This is during the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its target, and the target is 1 World Eaters unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more of those attacking units' attacks. Effect, until the end of the phase, each time an attack is allocated to a model in your unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic. Yeah, it's good. It just gives you a bit more survivability, especially if you're fighting something that has high damage. Things like Scarab Occult Terminators, Flawless Blades, quite a few of the Nurgle Death Guard units, like the Death Shroud. Yeah, it just means that you've got a bit more survivability going on there. And the last one is Berserker's Wrath. This is a strategic ploy strat for 1 command point. The incessant pounding of the butcher's nails drives the World Eaters forward, desperate to salve their agony with blood and gore. Nice. When your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit is shot, the target is 1 Khorne Berserkers unit, again, specific to Khorne Berserkers, from your army that can make a Blood Surge move as a result of those attacks. The Blood Surge is the built-in ability of the Khorne Berserkers, where they can make a die 6 inches move after they've been shot at. It's pretty good. The effect, do not roll a dice 6 to determine how far models in your unit can move when they make their Blood Surge move. Instead, when making their Blood Surge move, these models can move up to 8 inches. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's very, very nice. So you can do a much bigger Blood Surge, and it's guaranteed. There's no randomness involved. That can be a very nasty surprise for an enemy, especially if they've just plinked off 1 or 2 models from a Khorne Berserkers unit. It's very nice. Every stratagem here has application. Nothing is redundant. All the enhancements do too, and the Relentless Rage detachment rule is really good. What can I say? The Berserker Warband is just a great all-rounder. If it's the standard World Eater detachment, and it works really, really, really bloody well. It's the one I imagine most World Eaters armies are going to be taking, simply because it's got so much application. And it's universalist. Every unit in the army benefits from it. It's really good. The next one, on the other hand, the Cult of Blood, this is a really weird one. I like it a lot, but it is really, really weird. Such is the murderous reputation of the World Eaters that countless followers of Khorne are drawn into their orbit. These cultists, augmented by agonizing surgeries and possessed by an insatiable desire to kill, Howl praise to Khorne as they advance in huge numbers. They are most frenzied and zealous when following to battle the largest and most imposing of the World Eater's hell-forged war machines. In the presence of titanic gore-encrusted engines of destruction, mortal cultists revel in glorious slaughter, hurling themselves against gun lines and into the meat grinder of melee combat with reckless and ecstatic abandon. Beneath the crushing weight of such numbers, and faced with the terrifying presence of the World Eater's titanic engines of destruction, the enemy quail and flee or are swept aside in a tempest of horrific bloodshed. Lovely. So this is really interesting. I'm surprised they did this for the World Eaters, but I'm very glad they did. It's a cultist army. Not only do the standard Chaos Space Marines in their book get their basically Chaos Cult army list, or detachment rather, but you've also got one here for the cultists in the World Eaters. And the detachment rule, it's a bit finicky, but I kind of like it. In fact, I like it a lot. I think it could potentially be very effective. So, Idols of Khorne. Titanic Khornate war engines draw teeming masses of cultists to war. At the end of your command phase, you can select one of the Idols of Khorne abilities listed below. Until the start of your next command phase, so for the turn basically, that ability is active and its effects apply to all World Eaters Titanic and World Eaters monster units from your army. You can only select each Idols of Khorne ability once per battle, so a bit like your Gladius Task Force for the Space Marines. You can only select each of these once per battle, which is good because they're quite powerful. They are quite powerful. Also, it's not just Titanic units, because that would limit it to just one model, which is the Lord of Battles, the big, what's it called? The Skulls something? Lord of Skulls, is it? The big demon engine in the World Eaters Codex. That would be a bit limiting, to be honest. But no, it's World Eaters monsters as well, so it's also Demon Princes and Angron. So you can put together some really cool armies from this, and very effective armies as well, I've got to say. The rules are Idol of Infinite Rage, which is an aura, while a friendly Jackals or Goremongers unit is within 6 inches of this model, or within 9 inches of this model if it's Titanic. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll and add 1 to the wound roll. So it just makes your cultist units a bit nastier. It means that they are going at a key point in the battle when they're all within melee range, and when they're engaged in combat, and when there is one of these units within range, you just pop this, and suddenly everything within the aura range gets this ability, and suddenly they're a lot nastier than you would expect cultists to be. Nice. The Idol of Burning Wrath, another aura. While a friendly Jackals or Goremongers unit is within 6 inches of this model, or within 9 inches if this model is Titanic, add 1 inch to the move characteristic of models in the unit, and add 1 to advance and charge rolls made for that unit. So this one, you're going to be using early on. That's the one to get your guys across the battlefield and into combat. That can work very, very well. That's more of a utility one. And then you've got the Idol of Blessed Blood. While a friendly Jackals or Goremongers unit is within 6 inches of this model, or within 9 inches of this model if it's Titanic, models in that unit have a 4+ invulnerable save. So again, it makes your cultist units more survivable. If they're taking a charge, if you're facing an enemy like the Emperor's Children, or Black Templars, or the Blood Angels, big, elite, heavy combat units that are going to be getting into assault very quickly, this is a way of defending them and making sure they just don't go squish, which is always a problem with cultists, obviously. So your enhancements: Chosen of the Blood God. This immortal being has earned the favour of the Blood God, and its monstrous form is redolent with Khorne's unholy power. World Eater's monster only, so Demon Prince, effectively. Add 3 inches to the range of the bearer's aura abilities, so not only does the normal aura abilities get 3 inches, but also the idol abilities also get 3 inches. So that's a nice utility piece, actually. Butcher Lord. Some World Eaters lead packs of cultists into battle, inspiring the masses with their inhuman savagery. World Eaters infantry model only. During the declare battle formation step, the bearer can be attached to Jackals or Goremongers units. If attached to a Goremongers unit, the bearer has the Infiltrators ability. That's really, really, really good. So you can take a standard Khornate model. It's got to be infantry, but I think I think both the Chaos Lord, even though it's on Juggernaut, is it? Yeah, I think that counts as infantry. So you can put either that or the Executioner guy with cultist unit. That's pretty good. It gives them a bit more oomph, it gives them a bit more hitting power. I like that. Brazen Form. Whether possessed, colossal demons, or hellforged constructs, Khorne's diabolic followers have monstrous resilience. World Eater's monster model only. Add 1 to the bearer's toughness, and the bearer has the Feel No Pain 5+. That on a demon prince, that's mega. That's actually really nasty. You're going to put that on your warlord to keep them going, yeah? Strategic Slaughter. Despite the frenzied battle lust that consumed his soul, this warrior still retains a sliver of the tactical insight instilled in him by his training. World Eaters model only. After both players have deployed their armies, select up to 3 Jackals and or Goremongers units from your army and redeploy them. When doing so, you can set these units up in strategic reserves regardless of how many units are already in strategic reserves. Love, that is always good. That ability, the Emperor's Children have got a lot of this. That is always so good because it gives your opponent such a bloody headache. I'm telling you. As someone who's played against armies that can do this, believe me, it's such a bloody headache. It's very frustrating. So, stratagems, Bloody Vengeance, 1 command point. The demise of this titanic being showers nearby cultists in blood and viscera, inspiring vengeful fury. This is any phase, and the target is 1 World Eater's monster or World Eater's titanic unit from your army that was just destroyed by an enemy unit. You can use this stratagem on that unit, even though it was just destroyed. Again, it's weird that. You don't often get that. Until the end of the battle. Oh! Each time a model in a Jackals or Goremongers unit from your army makes an attack that targets the enemy unit that just destroyed your unit, you can re-roll the hit roll. Wow, that's really good. I mean, it's got a downside because you need it activates upon the destruction of one of your big, expensive, and useful models. But since they are going to die anyway, when they do, just pop that down, and that's suddenly that unit that destroyed it is in real trouble. That's very good. I like that. Bloodthirsty Horde. This is 1 command point, so nice and cheap. Battle tactics stratagem. In their feverish desire to slaughter, Khornate cultists scramble and surge to land blows upon the foe. This is the fight phase. The target, 1 Jackals or Goremongers unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase and is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy models. The effect, until the end of the phase, each time your unit is selected to fight, when determining which models in it are eligible to fight, any models in your unit that are within 3 inches of 1 or more enemy models are eligible to fight. When resolving those attacks, such models can target one of those enemy units that is within 3 inches of them and within engagement range. So it just makes them a bit killier. When they're in Salt, it means that they don't have to get all of their models within 2 inches. It's quite good. It's quite a nice bit of work, that. Especially if you've made like a short charge or something, or you're on an awkward battlefield where it's difficult to get all your guys into combat. That's good. It's really good. Drawn to Slaughter. This is expensive. 2 command points. Strategic ploy stratagem. As the bloodshed increases, Jackals are drawn to the fight like hungry scavengers to a kill. Any phase. Target 1 Jackals, a specific 1 Jackals unit from your army that was just destroyed. You can use this stratagem on that unit even though it was just destroyed. The effect, add a new unit to your army identical to your destroyed unit in strategic reserves at its starting strength. Very, very nice. So, that's the nature of cultist armies. Obviously, they're a horde army, so they should be able to replenish themselves somewhat. That makes a lot of sense. That's really good. It's expensive, but it's good. Fail not the blood god. To fail Khorne is to invite a terrible fate. 1 command point, strategic ploy stratagem. This is during the fight phase, and the target is 1 Jackals or Goremongers unit. The effect, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, re-roll a hit roll of 1. If that model's unit is within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly World Eaters monster units, or within 9 inches of 1 or more friendly World Eaters Titanic units, you can re-roll the hit roll. It's good. It's really good. It's strong. It's to the point. It's simple to use. 1 command point, you're going to be using that all the time. That's meat and potatoes of the Cult of Blood. You're going to be using that all the goddamn time to give your relatively, your ostensibly weaker cultist units a bit more oomph, in combat. In the Shadow of Brass Idols. That's a lovely title for a stratagem. Strategic ploy stratagem, 1 command point. Emboldened by blood, slick, and skull-laden idols of their dark god, mortal cultists shrug off injury. This is your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has been selected as its targets. The target is one Jackals or Goremongers unit from your army that was selected as the target of any of those attacks. The effect: until the end of the phase, models in your unit have the Feel No Pain 6+ ability. If your unit is within 6 inches of one or more friendly World Eaters monster units, or 9 inches of a Titanic unit, it's the Feel No plus 5+ instead. Really, really, really good. For one command point, you're going to be using that all the time. Like every turn, I imagine, you're going to be using that. Simply because it's just going to give them so much more survivability. Otherwise, they're relatively squishy. They're cultists after all. That's very good. And lastly, we have Brazen Idol, which is the only 2 command point one in the detachment. And this is an epic deed stratagem. Greatest idols wrought in Khorne's infernal name bestow myriad blessings upon his faithful. This is your command phase, and the target is one World Eater's monster or World Eater's Titanic unit. The effect: select the Idol of Infinite Rage, Idol of Burning Wrath, or Idol of Blessed Blood. Until the start of your next command phase, that Idols of Khorne ability is active for your unit instead of any other Idols of Khorne ability that is active for your army. Even if you have already selected that ability this battle. You can still only use them once per battle, though. That's really good. So if you do need that little bit extra in a particular turn, if one of the other idol blessings would work better, or circumstances have transpired that you need to use them, you can do so with it's expensive. It's 2 command points, but it can be the difference. That stratagem will make the difference between where the battle turns. So it's really good. It's a lovely, very unusual, very strange, very particular attachment, this one. I really like it. And I can see it having a fair bit of application. I just love the fact that there might be World Eaters players out there who are designing their armies after this, creating a cult of blood around all the big brass idols, the demon princes, and all of the cultists swarming around them. It's very strange, but this could be a nightmare. If all you take are your demon engines, your demon princes, and the rest is just Goremongers and Jackals, would be a nightmare to deal with. Really nasty, actually. Very unwieldy and unusual, but kind of cool. I love that one. I love that one to bits. Well, my loves, when we come back, we'll be doing the 2 next detachments, the Khorne Demonkin, which is very exciting, and the Possessed Slaughter Band. So, until then, bye!